California may be putting a cap on Tesla CARB credits, and we find out just how small the advertising budget is at Tesla. Here are your Tesla tidbits for July 7th, 2016. We have a bit of a slow news day today, but the big story comes from Electrek as California's Air Resources Board, or CARB, begins to realize its push to get more zero-emissions vehicles on the road may be falling far short of estimates. Projecting 15.4% market share for EVs by 2025, the state is being shown up by whole countries that aim to have a 100% EV fleet in that same time frame. The backfire of the original mandate is that Tesla, who makes no internal combustion engine vehicles, and the popularity of a few plug-in hybrids means that the remainder of the auto industry needs only to reach 6% of a market share in the state, along with purchasing surplus credits from other manufacturers to comply with the CARB mandate and not face fines. The system works like this. When a manufacturer sells a zero-emission vehicle in the state, they get credits for the sale. They must reach a certain credit level in order to maintain compliance with the CARB mandate and not be fined. The way around this is to purchase credits from other manufacturers that have a surplus of these credits, which is cheaper than having to pay the fine. In this way, the program is funded if a fine is levied, and manufacturers who are exceeding the mandate are rewarded for their efforts if credits are purchased. Since Tesla only sells EVs, there are always an abundance of extra credits for purchase. Last year, the company sold $168.7 million in credits, mostly of these zero-emission variety, so CARB is looking into making the mandate tougher. The predicament, though, is that in doing so, it looks like the state is basically handing Tesla more money as the leader in surplus credits. Dan Sperling, a civil engineering and environmental science professor at UC Davis, said the following, quote, "The board could strengthen the mandate by simply raising the number of credits and sales automakers need to comply. Or, conscious that the requirements could be seen as a Tesla subsidy program, regulators could limit the credits that any individual automaker can sell." End quote. Of course, this didn't sit well with Tesla. Darmid O'Connell, Tesla's vice president for business development, said he supports higher emission targets, but he rejects the idea of capping the credit trades, which he calls, quote, "an extremely stupid idea. You'd be punishing people who are doing the most to put EVs on the road," end quote. It's easy to see the argument here for both sides and the predicament that CARB is in. Hopefully, though, Tesla is able to continue to receive full credit for its efforts. Lastly, a number on Tesla's advertising budget. As enthusiasts, we already know that Tesla does basically no advertising. However, Benzinga.com reports exactly how little it truly is. In an email to investors, global equities research analyst Trip Chowdhury laid out that Tesla spends a measly $6 per vehicle sold in advertising, with the rest of the industry averaging $1,000 per vehicle sold and as high as $3,325. The nearest competition was Toyota, spending $248 per vehicle sold. Chowdhury continued to wax poetically, saying, quote, $6 of ad spent per vehicle for the product generating more than $8 billion in revenues and more than $14 billion in bookings is unheard of in the industry, end quote. Yet another way that Tesla's approach is keeping costs down for buyers. You can find links to the full stories from this episode in the description of the show. If you get some value out of what you hear every day, please consider supporting the podcast at patreon.com/Tesla Tidbits, just like John Walthour did. Hopefully I got that pronunciation of your last name correct there, John. John becomes my first patron, and at the $10 level gets this credit at the end of the show every day. Special thanks to you, John, for being the first, my friend. I'm glad you enjoy the show. But as I've always said, if you don't have any spare change, don't sweat it. Show your support with positive reviews, likes, and subscriptions on your favorite media services, and by spreading the word of the show to other Tesla lovers. If you have questions or feedback for me, you can hit me up via email by messaging podcast@teslatidbits.com or on Twitter @TeslaTidbits. That's it for today. Hope to see you back here tomorrow. Until then, keep it charged and hit the road.